internal audit and agreed by the audit committee, this is in addition to the standard items on the start of meetings of the council, its committees and subcommittees, and serves to, where applicable, consider written requests for dispensation from members who have declared an interest on one of the items of the meeting agenda. The purpose of the dispensation is to relieve a councillor or some or all of the restrictions which apply to them when considering a matter in which they hold an interest. A councillor may vote to grant the dispensation if it is considered that without the dispensation, the number of persons prohibited from participating in any particular business being considered at a meeting would be so great a proportion that it would impede the transaction of the business. Or, by granting the dispensation, is in the interest of persons living in the council's area, or it is otherwise appropriate to grant the dispensation. A motion which is moved under this item 3 of the agenda to either grant or deny a dispensation should be moved in accordance with the normal standing orders and the rules of the debate. There are no dispensations to be considered for tonight's agenda. However, I will ensure that a record of this advice around dispensation is recorded in the minutes for future reference.
Councillor Madison.
Mr. Chair, with regard to this, I hear what Mr. Ransom has said with regard to the...
You can sit down if you want to.
I hear what Mr. Ransom has said with regard to the audit committee. However, there should be no politics in the town council, and the fact that you're saying that somebody who has already declared an interest, whether that be prejudicial, if it means that the numbers attending that meeting, even though they've got a prejudicial interest, it allows that person still to participate, I think is wrong. We have had in previous years the fact that there has to be a quorum for a committee. So here we could have a situation where only one person attends the meeting. That person has a prejudicial interest, but is still allowed to participate. And I do believe that having a member dispensation like this is wrong, as I said earlier.
Yes, Councillor.
Just pick up a few points from that. Firstly, that this was a recommendation made by the internal auditor and it is in line with the Localism Act. It's also in the local council's explained book, which was published by now, which I recognise is the paragraph that Mr. Ransom's read out tonight. It doesn't apply to prejudicial interests, it applies to pecuniary interests, which it says quite clearly there on the agenda. And I can't envisage a situation where there would be only one member attending a committee, considering the quorum for a committee is much greater than one.
Yes, Final Chair.
Yes, Chair, just to come back on that one, in fact we did have an IT committee meeting that was only attended by one person. So I'd just like to clarify on that one.
Chairman, a point of clarification, that wasn't the case. There was never such a meeting. What there was, and I'll probably to their great joy, is mentioned the Spennymoor Area Action Association Facebook page. They posted a printout of the minutes from an IT working party that said present, Councillor Geldard, and then a few other councillors on the line below. They took that to mean that there was only me present. That was not the case. There were other councillors present, and the minutes clearly show that. So it's not the case at all.
Right, okay, let's explain this to get our members' dispensations. Yeah.
Excuse me, being explained.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I haven't picked up what it actually means. It's the first time I've heard tonight of what's being said there.
But it's in standing orders, am I right, Councillor?
Well, I have read.
Yes. You see, well, if you're reading in the standing orders, you know, you'll get a better gist of it. Yeah. Okay. I will move on. Item 4. Public questions. Mr. Gardner, put your question, please.
Right, thank you very much, Chair. I'd first like to take the opportunity of thanking members across this chamber who have kindly taken the time to respond to my letter. Not all have. To those members who stopped me in the street, telephone, sent text messages or emails, thank you very much, I appreciate it. I do, however, have some points to raise regarding those replies and therefore would appreciate the opportunity, Chairman, to set out those points and to ask a supplementary question at the end. When I wrote to this council on the 12th of July...
Mr. Gardner, please, can you put your question?
This is very important and part and parcel
No,
of...
please put your question. It's all right, you've got 3 minutes, please put your question.
Right.
Please, thank you.
The question is not as is stated on the agenda. It is as is the original email, a copy of which was handed delivered to the Town Hall, addressed individually to all members of this place, a copy of which is on the centre table of this chamber, and I would prefer if its full contents would be recorded in the minutes of this meeting. Thank you very much.
Chair, I have some questions.
Yes.
Pardon?
No, you can't. No, it's a public question. Right,
Well,
Mr. Gardner, Mr. Gardner,
Hold the question, Chair.
Mr. Gardner, would you like to continue?
That's it, thank you very much. The question's there. All members have had a copy.
But no, would you like to read it out, please?
If you've got, I haven't brought a copy with me because all members have had a copy and there's a copy on the table.
Right.
So I will not need to read that out. I think members are fully aware of what the question is.
Okay. Mr. Ransom?
Yeah, through you, Chair. If I can respond to Mr. Gardner's question. Firstly, thank you for what is a very interesting and important question, Mr. Gardner. This council, like all of the local authorities across the country, face challenging times ahead around our budgets. This is one of the reasons the council took the important decision to consult our residents around their priorities last year. The council has worked very hard to ensure that there has been no council tax increase from ourselves this year, something that most other councils are very envious of. To enable the council to achieve such measures for its residents requires the council to seek the best prices from all our suppliers wherever they are based. As a public contracting authority, Spennymoor Town Council is obliged to adhere to the Public Contracts Regulations Act of 2015 and linked to these the EU Treaty principles governing public procurement. These EU Treaty principles strictly forbid the Town Council from being biased in favour of local companies. The EU procurement rules have a strong focus on promoting cross-border trade, and as such, potential suppliers must be treated equally, irrespective of where they are located, whether they are non-profit or private sector, etc. A framework agreement, which was only open to local firms, would breach this requirement and may place the Town Council at risk of a legal challenge. Further work around supplier analysis of procurement may prove helpful to the Council's future planning. However, such analysis may well find that the reason for the perceived low spend in Spennymoor's specific supply base is because many of our contracts involve goods and services and work that no one in Spennymoor can provide. Nearly 70% of the Council's total spend is spent here within the North East. The remainder of our spend largely comes from nationally based utility companies and specialist companies for suppliers such as insurance, fire and security and Christmas lighting. Some of our suppliers, while having national accounts head office where our payments are made, deliver their services through local teams based here in the North East. The Council recognises that there are certain steps that can be taken to make contracts more accessible to local firms. That is, to take steps to remove any barriers that they may face so that at the very least they have an equal opportunity to win Town Council business. Through advertising business opportunities in the local Spennymoor newspapers, the Council are actively encouraging local business to price for work for the Council. The Council are more than willing to work with local competitive providers and also publish spending on an annual basis in line with financial regulations.
Can you supplement your question?
All right, first of all, thank you very much.
No, I've got a copy of this as well.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I love that. Thank you.
Chair, can I have some clarification, please? Not actually on the question. Is the question from the public not allowed a preamble? You may go straight to the question. Is he not allowed to discuss the background of the question? I'm just
No,
going to
it's
say
not
advice.
No, it's the actual question that is put.
He's not allowed to do any preamble to that question. He gives the public background information to his question.
Yes?
Yeah, through you, Chair, yes you can. You have 3 minutes to answer the question, and within that 3 minutes, the member of the public have the opportunity to provide some preamble. I think the issue that Mr. Gardner has raised, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Gardner, is that what we've done on this occasion is publish the actual question rather than the preamble.
But I want to listen to the preamble and you
I
stop
gave
them.
Mr. Gardner the opportunity to begin the meeting. If you listen, Councillor Thompson.
No, you stop them.
No, I didn't stop him. No, I gave him. And Mr. Gardner, you quite rightly said that every member has a copy. Would you have it come with yours?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Right, Mr. Gardner, you
Yeah, but the public didn't get a copy.
Councillor Thompson, don't interrupt me. I'm telling you, don't interrupt me, please. We ought to talk about public questions.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yes, exactly. The public questions is between the person who's putting the question and the officer, and then back to the questioner.
Nothing to do with the public, fine.
Right, okay.
Right. Chair, like I said at the beginning, I want to raise some points that were actually in the replies to my letters as well as within the question.
Mr.
Purely
Gardner,
because
no, Mr. Gardner, I have got to comply with standing orders.
I
Your
would,
supplement question has got to do with the response that the officer has given you.
Chair, I will stick within the 3 minutes, and I would ask you, will you allow me to speak, or will you not allow me to say what
I
I
allow you
have
to
to
speak
say?
for 3 minutes, but please, I've got to keep within
You
standing
can
orders.
set your stopwatch. I will be within 3 minutes.
Carry on then.
Thank you. There's lots of things I want to raise regarding spending that's come to light inside this letter that I sent to the Town Council, also the research that was behind it, and which I believe this committee should look at and address. Firstly was the recent training from Durham County Council of Councillors. I didn't receive an acknowledgement from all councillors despite my asking for one. My address, telephone number were on the letter. A quick search of Google gives anyone contact with me via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google+. I have a website contact form
Mr.
and
Gardner,
my email address,
Mr.
which incidentally this
Mr.
council
Gardner,
already
can
holds.
I interrupt you? Please. We must keep within standing orders of the council.
This is within, my question
No,
was addressed to the council, and you have chosen to, first of all, edit that question.
No, I haven't chosen
It
to
was
edit
not
the
preamble, it was information. If you put forward anything to anybody
Mr. Gardner,
and just a
Mr.
conclusion,
Gardner, please, I
you
will
would
stop
not
you, I will stop
be
you
able to do
if
that.
you don't keep within standing orders and respond to the officer's question. Reply. Please.
The new budget is being drafted before the end of this year. This council should commit to being businesslike. Business plan for improvement, move forward. Businesses don't have a vision, businesses don't move goalposts and fix sound bites when an election is coming up. This council should commit to scrapping the useless, unnecessary vision and commit to planning, putting sound, achievable plans in place, short, medium and long term, that benefit the town council. Services are getting cut by DCC. Money is getting tighter and it has to go further. This council needs to commit to invest and spend locally. That means let's not just say that spending locally is a bad thing, spending locally is a good thing. Councillor Foster goes on about all this thing about
please
carbon
don't mention councillors by name.
Okay, fair
Mr.
enough.
Gardner, please don't mention councillors by name.
Let's not forget, this council has a great accountant sat there. He's worked hard with me over a lot of hours over this question. and this committee needs to reduce its spending dramatically and work with that accountant to get plans in place to set the budgets properly so that we can spend less on this committee and we can spend more on the services and the facilities of this town. And I'd like to ask this council to dedicate time to ensure before the next budget is set, firm plans are put in place, timescales are set, communication is improved, which is absolutely bloody atrocious, and that this committee implements massive efficiency savings so the money available from council tax can be spent on local people, local services and supplied by local businesses.
Right, thank you.
And will I receive a reply within 7 days to that question?
Was a question?
Mr. Answer?
The question quite simple, will this council commit?
We'll leave it to the...
Do you have a copy? Do you have that available in writing for me?
I have the whole lot in writing, unfortunately I wasn't allowed to say it all.
Well, we'll leave it to Mr. Ransom.
If we can exchange, I'll happy to give you a copy of this, Alan, and then at the end of the meeting, if you can pass that across to me.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, right, we move on now. Item 5, financial assistance. Members are requested to receive, we've got one from Mrs. Aston. She's asking for any amount that we would be happy to give her. Yes?
Thank you, Chairman. We've got a very good record in this council of supporting local sports people and our young people in sport, particularly, of course, our most recent success story, Naomi Tinkler, who was off to Rio with the Olympics. I'm sure everybody in the chamber will agree with me in sending all our best wishes to her as she embarks on what will be a great achievement. I think we should continue in doing what we do with regards to supporting our young people in sport. I would move that we provide £200 in funding towards the sponsorship of the GB kit that Lucy needs for this particular application.
Yes. Moving second, are we happy? Yeah. Right, thank you. I'm going to bring in another item of business which comes under financial assistance, and I'm going to head this 5B, which is came in late. It's the Buyers Green Fund Day event, which will take place on the 3rd of September, and therefore, if successful, it will require standing orders to be suspended. Yes?
Thank you, Chairman. I've spoken to this group. In fact, I attended a meeting that they set up to look at some of the plans for this event, and I suggested that they put in this form to get some funding. I would move that we accept the application, which I believe is for £300.
I'll second that, Chair.
Moving second, you know,
Yeah, I've attended the meetings as well.
Okay. Item 6, accounts for payments.
Yes, you did waive standing orders.
Yes. Item 6, accounts for payment, A, paid accounts. Members are requested to confirm the payment of accounts in the sum of £10,731.39, to authorise the payment for July. Payments of backs in the sum of £97,489.15 for July, and payments by direct debit in the sum of £22,684.16 for June 2016.
Move, Chair.
Second. Moving second, are we happy with them?
Great.
Item 6B, accounts to authorise. Members are requested to authorise the payment of accounts in the sum of £37,989.23 for July.
Move.
Second. Councillor Mason.
Yes, Chair. Page 2 of supplier invoices shows payment of £564.48 to Downtown Council, covering legal expenses. On checking this transaction last month, the statement had been recorded to pay this in this month's one, rather than last month, and that it related to advice from Clare Burrows of the Standards Board. One question, why was this? Also, as this can only relate to a member of this council, on what basis was this expenditure authorised and by whom, as nothing has been presented formally to council to approve such a request? I did also have other invoices that I'd asked to see before tonight's meeting. Unfortunately, those couldn't be provided. Mr. Ransom said that they were in his office, so I will speak to Mr. Ransom with regard to those separately.
Right, which one of you two going to come in and ask for the thing in commission or?
Yeah, this one is through myself, Chair. Off the top of my head, Councillor Madison, I cannot remember exactly what the issue was, but I'm authorised to payment, but I will be able to get that information for you and provide that to you.
Yeah, thank you. Perhaps you would have had the information if you asked, Councillor.
I did ask, and I assumed it was going to come to this meeting before the meeting started. but it hasn't.
Sorry, you haven't asked myself or Councillor Madison.
I spoke to Lisa with regard to it. So
When was that?
today,
All right.
and I expected it. But
Sorry, I was out of the office today, so.
could I have some answers to the questions that I raised with regard to that invoice? Because we've not agreed anything in council with regard to dealing with any standards board issue with Ms. Claire Burrows.
Yeah, well, I was a bit surprised. So,
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
there must be somebody that can tell me what it relates
well, it will
to.
be the meeting.
I mean, it's something that I've organised, and it could be, and please don't quote me on this, because as I say, I haven't got the information, I wasn't aware of the question prior to this evening. It could be the training that was provided for members in this
No,
chamber.
it relates to a freedom of information request, Chair.
All right, well, see, I don't have that information in front of us.
But the fact is, as the explanation on matters that I was looking at last month said that it was going to be paid this month rather than last month, and I also would like the reason for that.
Right.
And that's easy to explain, I'm sure.
Leave it, please.
The date of Mr. Rowe will have been put for approval.
Just to come back on that, Chair, you know, here we have a situation where we've got a payment and we've got no one attributed to a purchase order or authorising this. And I'm asking you a question for which nobody can give me an answer.
Well, but somebody will give you an answer, Councillor Madison.
Pardon me?
Through
Someone will give you an answer.
Yeah, through you, Chair, what I'm saying is, I'll have authorised the payment. What I'm saying is, because I wasn't aware of the question prior to this evening, I don't have the level of detail. However, that information will be provided with you to you tomorrow.
Yeah, but Chair, to come back, we have a fundamental issue here that invoices have been authorised for payment relating to freedom of information request, relating to a status board issue for which we have never had a meeting of this council where we've authorised that anybody can go to Durham County Council and discuss freedom of information requests. So, you know, why is this being done without any authorisation?
I don't know, but I'm sure all will be made clear.
Chairman, it's just a point of order. I don't have the answer to Councillor Madison's question either, but there are certain elements of the member office protocol that we need to be looking at here. And if Mr. Ransom's saying that he's going to provide the answer to the question to Councillor Madison, then I think we should leave it at that.
Chair, I also have another point to make.
Yes.
And again, this was one that I did ask Mr. Ransom earlier today. And this is a statement that appears as index to notes on Appendix C and refers to, and I'll read it out, provided as per statute. This covers the EVAC officers' costs, wages and national insurance contributions. Chair, we have to...
The point of order is being given. Please allow the point of order.
It's item 7 of the budget review control, not item
It's
7.
item 7 on which you've got, we're not on item 7.
Well, I'll raise it then.
Okay.
where the variances are allowed to see the percentage columns.
Point of order, Chairman, I've got no problem with that, but that is also item 7 and we're still on item 6B.
Yeah.
Chair,
Councillor?
Mr. Ransom, make sure that I get the same quick answers tomorrow as Councillor Mann.
All councillors will.
Oh, it's all right. You never said all councillors, you said it.
No, well, I'm saying as good as interested.
But
All councillors
you
should
rather than that.
Well, yes, I would agree, we should have the answers now, but you can't get the answers if the officer doesn't know the question first. No. Okay. Item 7, budget control, so you please.
Good evening, members, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one thing that's come up this week in terms of questions, and we referred to payment that was made to H&H Land and Property. And I explained it to the 3 people who inquired about it. Since I've given the explanation, the bill that was for the 2,900 plus the VAT was for 3 bits of work that the surveyors did. And I have that split, so if the members who asked the question wish to see the split, I'll happily give it to them. Other than that, apart from the fact Councillor Thompson kindly pointed out to me that the calculator obviously wasn't working on reviewing its calculations. I have no further questions, so I'm happy to answer anything that comes through.
Right, you referred to the payment of £3,484.55 and the breakdown of that. That's no problem. Councillor Manson?
Chair, just in response to the accountant, I would like, on this instance, for everybody to receive a copy of the response with regard to the 3 items. So if you could send it to everybody, I'd appreciate it.
The breakdown of that particular account, yes.
With regard to page 3 of 4, Appendix B, month 3 of this budget shows expenditure on professional fees, HR advice and legal fees totaling £12,292 against a budget of £27,500 for these 3 account headings, i.e. 45% of the total budget in 3 months has been used. How much of this relates to legal expenses attributed to the financial year ended March 2016? And secondly, isn't it about time we look to reducing significantly the expenditure on all of these headings? So if I could have answers, certainly with regard to the expenditure, with regard to legal fees, HR advice. But also one of the questions that I did pose to Mr. Ransom was the comment with regard to Appendix C, budgetary control, whereby a statement appears saying, provided as per statute, this covers the EVAC officers' costs, wages and national insurance contributions, and then goes on to talk about where that's related to in the invoices. However, my understanding is that we don't have a specifically named EVAC officer, and I asked for clarification on that, because my understanding was the EVAC arrangements were already undertaken by the caretakers, so I would like some clarification as to why we are now talking about an EVAC officer and his or her cost, wages and national insurance, because I would have thought we'd already accounted for them under the caretaker's duties.
If I could answer you in the first instance as regards setting up the budget, that was something that was given to me in 15 to put in as a provision. Mr. Ransom and I have actually spoke about this today, and I've gone back historically looking over it, and he had costs of something like the order of £9,000 per year. But Mr. Ransom does have the answer for you for that question, but it was put in on the budget as a provision as I was requested.
Yeah, through you, Chair. This was a budget provision that when I joined the organisation was somewhere in the region of about £15,000. And it was the advice of the town clerk at the time that we undertook this work. The advice that the town clerk was provided was by the fire officer at the time. Following further meetings with the fire officers, we received different advice, and as such, we've reduced that budget significantly. We do, however, carry a small amount in our budget in case there is an event or a function that may require some additional EVAC or fire marshals available to the council to manage a function. However, should such a function not take place, then that budget wouldn't need to be spent. It's a provisional sum, that's all that's being provided.
Thank you. Councillor Madison?
Yes, just to come back on that one as regard to the provision if we have a function. We know the maximum capability for the town hall. So I would have thought that the provision that we've got and the caretakers and the wages that we already have accounted for separately, why should we need to have an extra provision when we know the maximum number that can possibly be catered for in the town hall? Shouldn't we have that resource already catered for with the caretakers facilities that we already have?
Yeah, through you, Chair. Yeah, that does make logical sense. However, not all events are the same, not all customers are the same, and there is occasions in the past where the council have taken an event that has a significantly high proportion of disabled or wheelchair access customers, and as such the council have provided additional resources to manage or support that function, and as such they've brought in additional staff.
Okay. We're happy? Yes.
Just to move recommendations then, Chairman, with the addition that we add that percentage column that Councillor Thompson suggested.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, 20 mile per hour speed limit. It's a letter from Durham County Council on the 2 schools and the wishing to implement the speed restriction. Yes?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. When this last came up with the previous school, we agreed that what we would do is we look at each application as they came in on the merits and support where possible the application of these 20 mile an hour schemes outside of the local schools. Got to here, so I think in line with that, I would like to move that the council again add their support to the application of these schemes.
Okay. Councillor Madison?
Mr. Chair, I hear what Councillor Gallard has said. This specific email refers only to 2 schools in the town council area. The last time this came up, we placed a motion that we consider all of the schools within the township, not to consider each application as it came in. And my understanding of the discussion was that our officers would be contacting Durham County Council with a view to looking at implementing for limited times school start-up and school finish for a 20 mile per hour flashing sign to be considered around all schools. Is that not the case? Because certainly the email that we've received today only suggests that there's 2 schools. We have the same situation applicable to all of the schools within our township. And I thought, I was under the impression that we were taking this forward, representing the schools of our area, to ask for this to be endorsed across the county, across the town, sorry.
Well, is I recall, Councillor, we didn't put the motion forward for all schools. We said we'd wait until each school asked for support from the town council. Park School was the one that came
It
in.
was the last one.
Was the last one, yeah. Yes, last year, Councillor Madison.
Yes, just to confirm on this one, Chair, it was actually a motion from our group, and I did believe that that motion was supported by this town council.
I can't recall that. I can't, was you looking into that? Okay,
Sorry?
we look into that. I can't recall that motion being put forward. I can't recall Councillor Johnson putting the motion forward.
I
And we
said
should
our
go
group,
on
Chair.
all skills, sorry?
I said our group.
Your group, all right, okay. Right, everybody finished?
Chair, I'll just say a word. The Devon County Council is moving forward on this, and there will be schools that won't be covered by the
The first tranche.
first wave in the second tranche, because we need some more progress on that. And when Councillor Gallagher said he's talking about support, are we talking about financial support, or the ones that aren't going to be done by the county? I just want that clarified. That's all, Councillor.
Well, that's not what I'm saying at the minute, but we may look at that further down the line once the county council scheme concludes.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. It's been moved that we support it. We need to waive standing orders because the response has to be in by the 5th, which is Friday.
Okay.
Okay. Right, thank you. Now we move on to item 9, which is review and registration of title deeds, which has been ongoing for many years.
Yeah, through you, Chair, the purpose of the report is to advise members of the quotations that have been received for the above works and to establish a timeline and when the works will be completed by. The council has written out to a number of, or communicated with a number of companies. We've got 3 quotations back, one in 2000, one in 3 and one in 2.5. And the proposal is that we go with the company A, who is £2,000, and that will waive standing orders so that we can commence the work with immediate effect.
Councillor Johnson.
Chair, yeah, I'm pleased we're moving forward this, but for all the trouble that we've had in the past with this, I must admit £2,000 seems a small amount.
I thought that, Councillor Johnson.
I mean, we've been trying for about 9 or 10 years. Maybe that these people have a specific, I don't know, way about it, but £2,000 does seem a small amount from the experience that we've had in the past.
Yeah. Through you, Chair, the figure is not to do the land registry work. What I would anticipate is that the company would come back to us with any land registry charges, and I will bring them figures back to council to consider. This is just to review, analyse and log and database all our information.
Just if I may come back to it, as long as we've got him tied down and he's not going to keep coming dibbling away back at it, you know, when other people quote him more. I'm just a little bit sceptical that maybe he's wrong, but I am.
Councillor Madison, you can go a long way back like I can.
Yes, I was just going to say, as you know, we've spoken a lot on this particular issue. What I would like to know is this work has been awarded previously to 2 appointed legal representatives and has not been completed on either occasion. How much of this earlier work has been documented and how much of it are we able to use? How much will this solicitor be able to take from the information that has been done previously?
Through you, Chair, the information that we work from a blank sheet of paper because I don't know the level of detail of work that's been done previously. We started from scratch. Obviously, some of the work's been done, and which is why we're saying up to 200 applications. Because until somebody actually gets in and starts doing the work, they price that based on 200. If we've got significantly less than that, then hopefully the cost will come down. But that's based on worst case.
Yes, as I understand, some was done.
I You say we're working on a blank sheet here, but the people who have done the work previously, surely there should be some records within the council of that work that we can fall back on in order to speed up.
Of course, but until the company come in and analyse what's been done and what hasn't been done, they're in a position to understand that.
And when they do, Colin, bring the report back and explain to members what has been done. And what needs to be done.
I'm happy to do that, yeah.
Okay, right, thank you. Item 10.
Can I move the recommendations of the report?
Right, okay, there's nobody against. Right, okay. Right, been moved. Seconded? Yeah. He seconded, right. Okay. Item 10, event quotations, returns.
Yeah, through you, chairs, purpose to advise members of the court to obtain regarding council future events and to recommend awarding the work. The council have a number of events throughout the year, first being Party in the Park on the 19th of August. The council's advertised the work in the local press, in Spennymoor and Spennymoor Advertiser. The three sections of work that were advertised for the specifications was the bar and catering, sound and stage and the event management. The current position is that we've received one response for each of the areas in line with the bar and catering. The income proposed to pay the council is £500 on catering and a minimum of £700 on the bar. The costs associated with the stage and sound, because its expenditure, is £3,916, and the event management expenditure for the Party in the Park will be £8,055.
Right, thank you. And Company A, under the three separate categories, are different companies from each other.
Yeah, there's a different company, there's a bid for each of the, there's three different companies bid for each of the three areas of different areas of work. So,
Councillor?
Sorry,
yeah, so sorry, I was just going to finish by, obviously one of the proposals is that whilst the council's got this bar and catering offer in at this moment in time, the proposal is that if the council receive any future offers for things around like ice cream where it hasn't been offered, then the council can accept that and increase its income going forward.
I'd just like to mention two things, Chair. First of all, it's disappointing that we've only got one person for each item. It just makes you want to cast our nets wide enough. But with that as in front of us and that being the situation, that we can't argue with the gate. But this just clarifying that I did ask Mr. Ranson, and he did say that just we started off with events and finished with event at the bottom. This is only going to cover one event. Then the next event will also have to go out for people to come back, and maybe we could go wider.
Sorry if I can clarify that. Sorry, Councillor Thompson, where we're at on that, and I've gone back and read the specification, where we're at, and because we've only got the specification for the one event being the Party in the Park, and the only other event that requires an event company would be the fireworks. Because we're not at a stage where we can develop a specification on that, because we're moving the arrangements of that, and we need further meetings with the firework organisation to arrange the final arrangements, we're based it on this offer for all of the events, rather than going out, as we talked about, again in the future. So that price is based on this one event.
Yeah, so I would say, so the second one will be.
So the other event, because they've been successful for this one, they will be successful for the other event.
People who did it before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Councillor.
Chair, I'd just like to point out that I was approached today by a local landlord who put a letter in several weeks ago about for the bar, and he's received nothing from the council.
Right, we spoke about this today.
Yeah, we did receive an interest of the specification, and the specification was given to a local landlord. Unfortunately, the individual didn't return an offer or a council. So unless we receive an offer or a proposal, then we've got nothing else to consider. Sadly, they didn't return anything.
Okay. Right, everybody happy on that? Anybody? Any proposals? Okay.
Recommendations, Chair.
Moved and seconded. Right, thank you. Last item on the agenda is ICT infrastructure review.
Yeah, through you, Chair, the purpose of the reports for members to consider changing the current IT infrastructure. The background is Spennymoor Town Council's award of TSG support in its IT systems at the beginning of May 2016. The contract includes day-to-day IT support across monitoring the council's existing 3 servers and 13 PCs in line with the definition of the service document. In layman's terms, this means proactively monitoring the system, resolving any issues flagged by the monitoring system, responding to any issues. The proposals are that the council consider the following infrastructure refresh options. Under the table there, it demonstrates and identifies for members what the current arrangements or existing arrangements are. The total spend currently is $16,185 per year over 1 year, and to reoccurring cost. If we were to change the infrastructure, the investment cost would be $11,245. But the annual reoccurring costs will reduce from $16,185 to $8,283. So the members are recommended to propose that we change the infrastructure arrangements and reduce the annual reoccurring costs by approximately 50%.
Councillor Patterson?
Chair, I'd just like to ask what clauses and support are in place to protect the council for crisis management, and what emergency response facilities are offered?
In terms of currently or going forward?
If we go for this,
Yeah.
what protections does the council have? I.e., we have a total crash, we need to have some action immediately. You know, what facilities have we got in place? Is the clauses in whatever agreement that the council makes with the people that we are probably fully protected?
Yeah, there are a number of clauses written into that any proposed agreement. Unfortunately, I don't have them with us this evening, but there are obviously protection arrangements for the council for any crisis or management arrangements.
And for response times?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody happy with Councillor Gallagher?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I think this makes good common sense. It's a spending of £3,000 more than would be this year, £3,500 more than would be this year, to almost half the annual recurring cost going forward. That seems like very sound financial sense to me, and therefore I move the recommendations be accepted.
Second. Second recommendations, everybody happy? Okay, right, that's the end of the meeting. Thanks for your attendance.